Hey guys, Auspicious Aussie here, and this is going to be the rules for the Scottish Players Only Celtic series. Number 1, all foreign players must be sold or released. Obviously, that counts for the players that start at the club. We're getting rid of all non-Scottish players unless they have a dual nationality with Scottish nationality as one of them. Number 2, players with dual nationality can be used until they receive a cap for another nation. Self-explanatory, common sense. Number 3, youth caps do not count towards being eligible, only senior caps for national teams. That alludes to the second rule. Obviously, some youth players are going to be picking up caps for different youth teams. However, if they do have Scottish nationality and they don't have a senior cap for that national team, they are eligible to play and they are considered Scottish only, even though they are a dual national. Number 4, manager may not be added in order to get Scottish national team job. Obviously, I'm going to try and become the Scotland manager. And in regards to doing so, I'm not going to be able to add a manager to create a vacancy for the Scotland national team. So we need to get that by pure means. So basically, the manager needs to be sacked or retire or step down, and then we apply and become manager that way. Now, we have the goals. Goals of the series are pretty normal. Obviously, want to win the Scottish Professional Football League, the Scottish Premiership, without a shadow of a doubt. I'm assuming that is a given for Celtic. We also need to win the Scottish Cup and the Scottish League Cup. Both of those tournaments, I think, are very achievable for Celtic, even under these challenge rules. The next one, however, much more difficult, and that is to win the UEFA Champions League. Obviously, the biggest, realistically, the biggest prize in club competition, Champions League. You know, Celtic, they have a pretty unique history with European competition. We want to further that and not just be a group stage competitor for the duration of the series. The next 3 goals here on the list all pertain to the national team. The first of which, getting the Scottish national team job. That is a goal in itself. Going to be relatively difficult, at least until a few seasons into the game. The next one is to win the European Championship with the Scottish national team. And finally, the last goal, the biggest goal you could probably imagine, is to win the World Cup with the Scotland national team. Obviously, we can add a few stipulations onto that after we achieve that goal, or if we achieve that goal. Anyways, let's get into the episode. Welcome to the first episode of Scottish Players Only with Celtic FC. Now, today's episode, we're going to go over the preseason transfers. Obviously, you've seen the rules at the start of the episode. We've had to sell and get rid of essentially every player at the club that has a nationality other than Scottish, or that has caps for international teams that are not Scotland. With that in mind, we'll get into the transfers. Now, bear with me because obviously it's going to take quite some time. As you can see that there's probably about 30, maybe 35 to 40 players in the outs. A lot of these players, as you can see, some of these players have actually left before the game started for me. So, yeah, about down to somewhere around here, I would say, is when our players that were still at the club post, in-game transfer window. Now, we sold a lot of players for relatively cheap because obviously there's going to be a lot of players that aren't going to command large fees due to wage demands, and obviously reputation plays into that as well. But I'm just going to go through these guys. Probably you're not too familiar with them. This guy wasn't too bad, Shved. In regards to playing as Celtic normally, you would probably keep him around. Looks like a pretty good backup. We obviously loaned a few players out that this guy, I think he has dual nationality. So as you can see, he has dual nationality, hasn't picked up a cap for America yet. So realistically, he can stay around at the club due to his second nationality being Scottish. However, if he picks up a cap for USA, then obviously we have to sell him. That's sort of the rules. You saw it in the first 40 seconds of the video. So yeah, just going down. The first notable player that we sold, Christopher Eyre, had him in my AC Milan series. Incredible player. Pretty sad to let a player of his quality go, especially so cheap as well. Only 15.75 mil from Leicester. As you can see, his value's already skyrocketed to 21 mil. Going down a little bit further, Scott Sinclair, the 30-year-old Englishman, went to Sheffield United. Again, only 6 mil, relatively low fee, but I guess in the long run, it was profit for Celtic. Simunovic, relatively good centre-back. Again, a lot of these players did go to English clubs because obviously that's where the money is. But a bit of a loss there, 1.8 mil for him. Again, one relatively not well-known player. But then we have an Australian, Tom Rogic, one of the standouts in the Australian national team. We sold him to Lyon for a measly 10 million. Again, another hard transfer to make, as I'm Australian, and he is a player that I do admire from our national team. Just below him, we have this guy, Bolingoli, I'm going to go with. I think he was a new signing, yeah. So we made a pretty good profit on him, considering we flipped him just after he arrived at the club. So 4.7 mil in for him. Nerbiton left for 4 million to Al Ali in Saudi Arabia. This guy, Issouf Bio, relatively low fee, 950k for him. We then sold a couple of decent youth players. Now, we sold them really cheaply. However, I do have 50% of next transfer clauses in the transfers. I kind of was hesitant in doing that, but I feel like these players were at the club, and if we are playing by the challenge rules of Scottish players only, all the assets, you got to think of it as if I was a manager just coming in to preference Scottish players. I would be getting rid of these players the same way that I am now. So 50% of next sale for him. And then we also have this guy, Jeremy Frimpong, a 18-year-old Dutch fullback. Also 50% of his next sale. Next player, Oliver Ncham, 23-year-old Frenchman. Probably one of the best prospects Celtic currently has in real life. And we sold him to Wolves for 13.25 mil. Just under him, we have Lewis Morgan. Now, obviously, he's Scottish. You might be wondering, why did you sell him? Well, the reason behind that is I don't play with wingers. We're going to go with wing-backs. Lots of central players as well. So, wingers aren't useful. We've actually got quite a few Scottish wingers already at the club as well. Doesn't relatively stand out to me. And then we had Norwich come in with a 5.5 mil offer. Had to accept it, even though he is Scottish. A little bit further down, Edouard, 21-year-old French striker. I mean, if you were Celtic starting the game off, this guy would be leading your line 100%. We sold him for 12 mil, which I think is pretty pathetic. Crystal Palace getting an absolute bargain. Just a little bit further down, we have this guy, Dembele, 16-year-old winger. He went to Man United for 5 million. I'm not 100% sure if we put the 50% of next sale in that transfer. I'm not 100%. I think we might have. Anyway, final player I'll go over is Christopher Julienne, another centre-back, another Frenchman, and he left for 11 million. Getting in a nice 5 mil profit just signing. Was it the season before or this season? was actually this season. So, yeah, pretty good. Now, the juicy part, the players that we have brought into the club. Start off with Greg Taylor. Now, he obviously already transferred to the club, but essentially a new player for Celtic this season. Obviously, 21-year-old Scotsman, perfect for the series, exactly what we wanted. You know, in real life, they sold Kieran Tierney to Arsenal, another really bright Scottish young player. This guy going to come in and replace him fairly well, fairly decent stats. We did actually sign another left wing back. But yeah, pretty happy to get him in. Now, there were these players that were on loan. This guy's on loan from Stoke. However, I can't actually terminate his contract yet. So it's a bit of a problem. But he's in the reserves and will essentially just let his loan deal run out. He'll never play for the first team. So absolutely nothing to worry about in regards to that. We then signed Lewis Ferguson. Relatively decent central midfielder. I'm assuming... Was that my transfer? Yeah, it had to be, didn't it? Yeah, 1 point... Was it? No. No, he wasn't my transfer. Or was he? I honestly can't remember. Anyway, Lewis Ferguson at the club. Really good player. 19-year-old centre mid. We then loaned in Stuart Armstrong from Southampton. We do have an optional future fee. 15.25 mil. Seems a little bit steep. But getting him on loan, we're only paying, I think we're paying all of his... Oh, half. We're only paying half of his wages, which I think is relatively good. 25k per week. A little bit steep, but there weren't that many strong centre mid options. Now, the next player, probably my favourite signing of the window, John Souttar. A lot of you will be quite familiar with him. If you've ever managed in the EPL, this guy goes pretty quick, and you probably signed him yourself quite a few times. 22-year-old, probably not as good as he has been on past FMs. Usually develops into somewhat of a world-class player. Still bought him in anyway. Relatively cheap as well. Only 6.5 mil from Hearts. You know, taking a very strong player from one of our league competitors. Next player, we've got Stephen O'Donnell. Right wing back. Looks very good, very pacey, good going forward, and solid defensively. A little bit old, 27, but he's going to do a job for the next couple of seasons. So I'm pretty happy with him. 4.3 mil. Kilmarnock, another league rival. Pretty happy with that. We then have this player, Stevie Mallon from Hibernian. This guy looks really good. And we bought him for 400k. I feel like we've ripped them off a little bit. He looks like a very solid backup. I play with a roaming playmaker in the centre of our midfield trio, so he'll be a decent backup, I think. And I think that he might be a bit of a shining light, possibly throughout this series, especially in these early days. The next player we brought in was Liam Henderson, 4.3 mil from Hellas Verona. Very high wage, 25k per week for the 23-year-old. But I think he's got a bit of room to develop. Like I said, still only 23, natural box-to-box midfielder. We do indeed play with two of those, so I think he'll fit the bill quite nicely. We then have Jason Kerr, 900k from St. Johnston. He's going to be a starting centre-back for now, but obviously I'm going to try and look out for better options. I feel like he's probably better suited to a backup. But like I said, there just weren't that many options that were better than him. We have signed quite a few centre-backs, mostly gone for defenders because we were sort of lacking in that area. The next player, we got Scott Mckenna, 22-year-old centre-back. He's just coming back from an injury. We played a 5 mil for him, which I think is a relatively high fee, but he's pretty solid in regards to being a centre-back. Only 22 years old as well, 5 caps for the national team. We then signed Barry Douglas from Leeds United, 5.25 mil. And I think this guy's really good. He's a very, very solid wing-back, or full-back, if you will. good free kick taking, good corners, lacking a little bit in the physical department. But I'm guessing that the SPFL, the Scottish League, is probably not going to be that physical in regards to pace, stuff like that. Champions League, on the other hand, European competition, definitely going to be a bit of a step up, obviously. That's without saying. And the final player we just brought in, Alvin Ramsey. Now, interesting story. I saw that Rangers were going in for this guy, and that is literally the only reason as to why we signed him. Very cheap, only 46k. You know, peanuts, if you will. 18 determination, good tackling, good marking, and some good pace on him. He's lacking a lot of strength, let's just say that. But yeah, he's gone into the reserves. I think he's available for the under-18s. Yeah, there we go. Perfect. All right. Let's go over preseason. We've also had a few qualifiers. Been relatively good, as you can see. Undefeated in preseason so far. As we're going to go into our first 2 games of the Premiership season. First against Aberdeen. Then we're going to verse Maribel in the Champions League 3rd qualifying round. So we're going to do these 2 games today, doubleheader, and then episode 2, which a link will be in the description for, will be Hearts, and then the away leg against Maribel. Anyway, started off with a 4-0 victory over Falkirk. We then faced this team, Suduva. Yeah, we beat them 3-1. Greg Taylor, Callen Mcgregor, Lee Griffiths. I'll go over the team once we go into the lineup for the first game against Aberdeen. Obviously, some players you will be a little bit unfamiliar with. The next game was a friendly against KV Kortrijk. Drew with them, only draw of preseason. Christie getting the goal in that one. We then smashed Suduva 6-1. Griffiths getting a hat-trick. Johnston, Ferguson, and Christie also on the score sheet for us there. We then drew Cluj in the 2nd qualifying round, who are from Romania, if I'm correct. I think they are. They definitely would be with a name like Alexandru. Beat them 3-1 at home. Griffiths again on the score sheet. And then we had Stuart Armstrong getting a brace for himself. We then smashed Desportivo das Aves 3-0 before we played the second leg against Cluj and beat them 3-0 away from home. O'Donnell, Christie, and Griffiths again on the score sheet. So there we go. Let's get into the lineup. It's going to be a long episode here today. Hopefully you will stick with me. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell if you so wish to do so, and that'll hopefully give you a notification every time one of these Celtic Scottish players only episodes come out. Anyway, starting in goals, we're going to go with Bain. Now, Scott Bain, only 27, relatively good. However, we do have another option in goals, which is Gordon. However, Gordon is 36 years old, so he's probably in his last or second last season. Now, like I said, he has better one-on-ones, better reflexes, but his kicking, punching, passing, all lower, and he's also lost pretty much all of his pace. Does have good positioning still, however, but I feel like Bain is probably just the better option for the short term until we can either develop our own goalkeeper through the academy or we buy a relatively good goalkeeper from one of the other clubs that comes through their academy. So he's going to start for us today. I think he did play against Cluj in both games, I want to say. So yeah. Now, we do have a problem here because a few of our players are out injured. We got Scott Brown, club captain. Probably be pretty familiar with him. He's out injured. We then also have Scott Mckenna, one of the new signings, the centre-back, also out injured for today's game. And yeah, we're still a little bit short on the old depth. And then we also have Jack Hendry, who I believe was in the reserves when you start the game. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I'm pretty sure I brought him up. And he's relatively good as well. but he's going to be out for 9 days. So I assume he'll miss both games for this episode. That leaves us short. We're going to have to play a 16-year-old in centre-back, not even a natural centre-back at that. He's improving really well. He's got really good potential, Dane Murray. I like the look of him, and I think he will be a big player for us in the future, depending on how he develops. But he can play centre mid, and then he can also play centre back. So that versatility in a national, a one nation team is very, very important. And that versatility, for any team realistically, is pretty integral when you're competing in European competitions. Partnering him is going to be Kerr. Of course, one of the new signings we talked about, who I look at as more of a backup. And then he'll be partnered as a trio with John Suter. Going to the left wing back position, we're going to go with Greg Taylor today. Already mentioned him. Pretty much the replacement for Kieran Tierney. On the right, going to go with O'Donnell. Like I said, I do like the look of him. I think he's going to be good for the next few years as well. We then go into midfield, we've got Ferguson. Like I said, not 100% sure if I brought him into the club, but he does look very good. Also a natural box-to-box midfielder. Vice-captain of the club, Callen Mcgregor. Like I said, he's scored a few goals in the Champions League qualifiers so far. 1 goal there, 2 assists. But he does pop up quite often. And as you can see, as that roaming playmaker, I feel like he's going to do a really good job for us this season. And partnering the trio will be Stewart Armstrong, like I said, on loan from Southampton. Now, up front is where it gets a little bit interesting. We're going to go with Christie, who is essentially he's an attacking midfielder who can play all along the entire midfield and wing position. He's got really good pace, really good off the ball. He's got good technicals as well for a striker. We're going to try him out as a poacher. Hopefully it'll work. He's not actually very well suited to the role. Obviously, 5 heading is pretty dreadful, but he might be able to do something. And then we have his partner absolutely smashing the goals in, Lee Griffiths. And as you can see, from 4 games, he scored 6 goals, 8.57 average rating for those as well. This guy I'm essentially gambling the whole season on him scoring goals, basically. I'll show you the board expectations here very quickly if we go into club vision. As you can see, minimum expectations is to reach the group stage for the Champions League, win the Premiership for the league. We also need to win the Scottish Cup and win the League Cup. So, the goals for the start of the series that you saw at the start of the video, realistically, we're going to be trying to tick 3 of those off in this first season. And if we don't, we're going to be under pretty immense pressure. All right, let me just show you the bench here real quickly. We've got Gordon, obviously, great goalkeeper. We've got Douglas, of course, from Leeds United, newly signed. We've got this guy, James Forrest, who is a right winger. Currently training him as a right wing back. Not the best in his defensive attributes, but he's got really good pace, somewhat decent strength, somewhat decent positioning, and obviously being a winger, he's got really good attacking stats for a wing back. So yeah, he'll play a lot this season, and he'll slowly, hopefully, become a natural in that wing back position. We've got Henderson, of course, already went over him, natural box-to-box midfielder. We then got Mallon as well, who I see as the backup to McGregor. And finally, we have Mikey Johnston, who I'm also retraining as a striker. Only 20 years old. Not 100% sure if we're going to keep him around for much of the series. We'll just have to wait and see. Yeah, let's submit the team. Have a quick look at Aberdeen. And we'll get into things. Obviously, I don't have a lot of experience playing in the Scottish... Is it the Scottish Premier League? Scottish Premier Football League, whatever the hell it's called. I'm just going to call it the Scottish League, or the Premiership, throughout the series. Don't know any of these players at all. If you are Scottish or from Scotland, living in Scotland, whatever it may be, please leave a comment. exactly what you think of the players that I've signed, of the league itself, what I should be doing. Even if you're not from Scotland, leave me a comment. Do you want me to focus more on bringing our own youth players in, or would you prefer I just raid all of the other Scottish academies? Anyway, good start so far. Armstrong, there we go. We've got the opening goal of the series on camera. Stewart Armstrong on loan from Southampton, getting his third goal already this season, just playing in those Champions League qualifiers. But a nice throw in there. I mean, the Aberdeen defender is pretty shocking. And then Armstrong just blasts it from outside the box. Nice goal. Very nice goal. Alright, we've got Sutar with a long ball to Griffiths. And he skews that one very badly, you would have to say. Kind of expect him to do a little bit better when it comes to that. Now, Kerr has picked up a yellow card. Just want to ease him off. Just got to make sure that he doesn't pick up a second yellow, because that could spoil the party here at Celtic Park. Alright, that's a nice first-time ball. And Christie blasts one. That's going to be wide, high and wide, straight into the crowd. As you can see, we're dominating pretty well. They've had 4 shots, but 0 on target so far. I think we've had about 7 on target, so far so good. Although they could be on a bit of a counter-attack here. Ooh, that was a bad tackle. They're in the box. Taylor clears it away, and then Sutar gets a nice... Well, he hoofed it, basically. And we are in possession. Christie in behind, one-on-one. And Lewis, the Aberdeen goalkeeper, making a really good save there. Ooh, I forgot to change my corner takers. Bit of a rookie move there. But I guess we'll just have to see how that plays out. I'll make sure to do it before the next game against Maribel. Alright, we're approaching half-time here. Aberdeen with a ball over the top, but that's well defended. And hopefully we'll be able to launch our own attack, starting from the back here. Bit of a wayward ball. However, Christie's in behind again, and this time he slots it past the goalkeeper, getting his third goal as well for the season. McGregor getting the assist there as well. Good to see your roaming playmaker doing exactly what he's supposed to be doing, and playmaking. Really nice finish, nice and low past the goalkeeper. 2-0 to Celtic. Ooh, that was a strong tackle. And Ferguson's picked up a red card. Alright, well, I think I'm just going to move McGregor into a box-to-box midfielder role. Could probably take Christie off. But I think we'll just leave it like that for now. I kind of want the outlet of 2 strikers up front, even though it is going to heavily reduce the impact of our midfield. Alright, we've won the ball there. Armstrong beats his man with ease. 1-on-1 with the keeper, and that's another good save by Lewis. Alright, Griffiths goes to Taylor. He's brought down. That's a good position for a free kick. However, not going to show us it. Another good throw in there. O'Donnell to Taylor. And that's a very, very easy goal for Greg Taylor. That's his second goal of the season as well. O'Donnell with the assist. I mean, he took the throw in and then managed to assist his fullback partner. Such an easy cross. And just got in front of his defender there. Putting it in the back of the net. Alright, I think we're going to make a sub here. We're going to bring on Johnston for Griffiths and maybe Henderson as well. Yeah, we'll go Henderson for McGregor. Henderson needs a bit of match fitness as well. He was a fairly late signing. Oh, Johnson's over. He's beaten his man with a nice ball over the top. But that is a bad finish from the makeshift striker. Armstrong seems to be playing really well. I'm really happy with that loan signing. Taylor with a strong header there, but the defender gets in the way of it before it manages to head on target. Armstrong with a corner. Kerr lays it back to Suter. Armstrong. Decent cross, but the goalkeeper just gets onto it in time. I have to say, this is a pretty decent start. I know we're only 70 minutes in. Ooh, somehow it's gone in the back of the net. Greg Taylor scoring an own goal. I mean, he scored at the other end, and now he's undone all of his good work, giving away a goal, or scoring an own goal. It literally, he knew nothing about it. It literally hit him in the back. Maybe should have been paying a little bit more attention to where the ball was. We still have one more sub. We've conceded a second there. All right, things are starting to fall apart a little bit. Let's bring on another midfielder. We've got Stevie Mallon. We're going to bring off... kind of want to bring off Johnston. Sorry, Mikey Johnston. I apologise, but we're going to have to bring you off, mate. We'll confirm this sub here, and then we'll wait for the highlight or the replay to elapse, and we'll make the tactical change to our formation. Completely unmarked at the back post for Niall McGinn. Alright. Bring Mallon back into the middle here as the roaming playmaker. And we'll leave Christie up top as a poacher. Probably should change him to an advanced forward. Although he has done relatively well today. Come on, Christie, please finish. And he does, getting his second goal of the game. O'Donnell with another assist there. And that, hopefully, will put this game to rest. We're 4-2 up. I was a little bit worried there that they were going to come back and equalise for 3-3. But Christie, very similar to his other strike. A little bit closer to the goalkeeper, maybe. But again, another nice finish. And good to see us scoring some one-on-ones. That is for sure. However, there's still 10 minutes left. Been quite a long game, actually. I mean, the episode's already been going for about 30 minutes, 31 minutes maybe, as Christie gets another shot saved there. We still have one more game for this episode. And I'm expecting goals in the Maribel game, so probably going to be a relatively long first episode. Ooh, let's go. Ooh, that's a penalty. Taylor was pushed, so Taylor's won a penalty. Christie to take it for the hat-trick, and it's saved. That sucks. Mallon with the corner. Into the box. Taylor with a bit of a wayward effort, and then Armstrong with a relatively tame shot. Alright, we're in a stoppage time now. It's all but over. We have a throw in here. O'Donnell will get it back. There's only 15 seconds left. Armstrong. Ooh, good save. Very good save by their goalkeeper. He's played really well. Very impressive performance. I know he's conceded 4 goals, but He's made a lot of saves as well. Murray, the 16-year-old, clears it for the last kick of the game. And there we go. First game with a 4-2 victory over Aberdeen. Very, very pleased with that result. And Rangers lost to Hibs. That's an interesting result. Wasn't exactly expecting it. Christie, man of the match. Obviously, one debut there for Malin. And we're just going to praise Christie for that performance. Very good stuff. All right, so what I'll do now is I'll advance forward the 3 days and join you back for the lineup against Maribel. All right, so let's get into the lineup. We're actually just going to go with the exact same starting 11. I feel like there's no real point in changing it. Obviously, Ferguson picked up that straight red card. Maybe I could leave him out. But at the same time, the only replacement would be Henderson. And I mean, Henderson hasn't actually played too well when he started. So there's that. We also have Malin. Yeah, it's touch and go. I'd rather play him as a roaming playmaker. I'm not sure if his stats exactly fit a box-to-box midfielder. I mean, they kind of do. Anyway, enough rambling. Worth mentioning, Scott Mckenna and Scott Brown both coming back from their injuries. We're going to bring Mckenna on the bench. I want to start him, but again, at the same time, if we do, he will literally probably pick up an injury straight away. So we'll give him a little bit of game time. It's also worth mentioning that Murray became the youngest ever player to play in the Scottish Premiership, which I think is incredible. And yeah, we won the game, so fair play to the young lad. Yeah, he's going to start again today. Again, a bit of a risk, but we need to take a bit of caution with Mckenna. So yeah, he comes back on the bench. We did actually have an empty spot there anyway, so an easy hole to fill. Looking at their team, Tavares probably a bit of a danger man. Kolar, I think Kolar is a decent. Oh, is he a real player? All right, I must be thinking of a different Kolar. Anyway, let's get into it. Realistically, we should be winning this game. I'm just going to tell the boys if they play their natural game, the result will come. I often change between that team talk and expecting to win when we are actually expecting to win the game against certain opponents, which with Celtic, it will pretty much be every opponent, apart from maybe Rangers. But even then, when we're at home, we're obviously going to be the favourites. So pretty easy team talks to apply to a team like this of such high stature. Anyway, Taylor, that was a very interesting turn of events. It's going to be offside anyway. But we almost had the opening goal there. Also worth mentioning, we are the home team again today. Christie in behind. And that's a really good save by their goalkeeper. And I'm pretty sure I forgot to change the corner takers again. My bad. Sometimes when you're this excited for a series, as I am right now, and as you can probably tell, I've literally been rambling on. What a goal. Lewis Ferguson. Dreadful in the first game of the series, and he has redeemed himself with an absolute screamer. Look at this from outside the box. Oh my goodness. He absolutely bangs it. Top corner. Yep, top corner. Take a bow, son. 1-0 to Celtic. Griffiths in behind. Oh, and he hits the post. No. That did not just happen. Oh, he's offside anyway. Fair enough. Okay, I thought if he was onside, that would have been the most shameful miss I've ever seen on Football Manager. But he's redeemed himself there, getting a goal literally off of the throw-in. Griffiths getting a second goal for us. In such a weird fashion, he just, turned. Turned and scored with ease. And we're coming forward again. O'Donnell. Good cross to Christie. Oh, he just can't get there. Goalkeeper had to come for that 100%. Now Maribel, they're on a bit of a counter-attack. They got plays in the box. Good tackle by Taylor. Very good tackle. And he clears it away as well. Exactly what you want to see your wing-backs doing. And from defense to attack, and Christie probably should have done a little bit better there. All right, we go with the short corner to Taylor. Cleared away. Kerr. Christie. Kerr. McGregor. Oh, what a nice goal. We're scoring a lot of goals from on the edge of the box, or outside the box even. That was another really nice goal. And it's 3-0 to Celtic. We're literally passing it around inside their box. And McGregor with a nice curling effort into the opposite corner of the goal. Like I said, there's going to be some goals in this game. We're already 3-0 up. Still got 9 minutes before half-time. Maribel, they could score a goal or two. They probably have it in them. Although we are coming forward yet again. Armstrong. Nice ball out to O'Donnell. Can he finish? No, he can't. Does win the corner, though. Alright, we're about to go into half-time. Although, there could be one last highlight. Still a minute and a half left of the first half in stoppage time. Oh, they've given the ball away. I was going to say that we won the ball, but they gave it away to us. And that's a really poor cross by Griffiths. Really should have been doing better there. Taylor with a nice cross-field switch, and that's a decent shot. But not good enough for a goal there. And that just goes to show exactly how dominant we are at the moment. Obviously, you know, Celtic Park is going to be a fortress for us. That's without saying. I feel like the only way we're going to struggle, especially in the Champions League, is away from home. You know, the goal is to make the group stage for this first season. I think the club needs the finances that come with that. We did raise a lot of money in pre-season from those sales, as Christie's shot is saved there. But we do want to be buying all the best Scottish talent, so with that is going to come some pretty hefty fees, I would say, going into the future. Also, Scottish players, they are somewhat produced by English clubs. It seems less so on FM20 that dual nationality players are coming through academies of different nations. However, you know, there's still a possibility, and obviously English clubs command incredible transfer fees, so that could be a bit of a stumbling block in the future if that happens. We also want to be able to buy some of the best Scottish players, try and bring players back, such as Tierney. So, you know, we're going to need some money, is what I'm trying to say. And group stage qualification is what we need, and is what is, you know, expected of us as well by the board. Yeah. Alright, Griffiths has stolen the ball there. However, it's been cleared away. We're going to make a couple of subs here. We'll get Henderson on for Armstrong. And then I think we'll bring Mckenna on as well for Murray. And then I think I might swap Kerr and Mckenna. I kind of see Mckenna as more of the... We play with a central defender on cover in the center of our trio. The other two are ball-playing defenders, so kind of see him as more of the covering defender. Oh, that's a really nice Henderson. Really nice goal. He's not exactly match fit, and I was kind of playing him down a little bit before the game started here today. But that's a really nice shot. Obviously, his first goal for the club. Keeper got hands to it, but it was a little bit too good for him. Eyre getting the assist there. And we're 4-0 up in this first leg. Obviously, the most important thing is not conceding a goal. No away goals. Essentially, there's no chance they can win. And there we go, full time. 4-0 victory. We also had 4 different goal scorers there as well. I mean, we're 2 from 2 as far as, winning games in episodes. I have to say it's the perfect start to a series. And like I said, I'm very, very excited for this series, guys. It's probably going to be one of, if not my best series I've done on the channel. If you have enjoyed the episode, you're looking forward to the next episode, make sure you check that out. Drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and apart from that, guys, as always, take it easy and goodbye.